Hey guys, Jenny here and welcome back to my channel. For this video, we're making something that is familiar to most Filipinos, and that is a custard cake, or some people may know this as a leche flan cake. It is a chiffon cake layered with leche flan on top, so if you want to know how to make this, just stick around and I'll show you how it's done. Now let's get into the video. The first thing we'll do is the caramel, and to do that, just combine your sugar and water in a saucepan over medium heat, and using a spatula, give it a gentle stir to help dissolve the sugar. We are going to keep this boiling until it caramelizes and reach a deep amber color. You do not want to leave the caramel alone at any time because this can burn really quickly and you'll have to redo it again. That looks about the color I am aiming for. Very carefully transfer that caramel into a 9-inch cake tin and move it around to coat the entire bottom of the tin. This caramel would actually be the top layer because we are going to invert this cake later. You will also notice that as it cools down, the caramel hardened like candy, and that's exactly what we want. With that being said, you want to make sure that you swirl the pan around while the caramel is hot, because then when it cools down, it's going to harden and you won't be able to coat the entire bottom. So just keep that in mind. So let's set this pan aside while we make the flan. In a big bowl, just crack your 6 large eggs and give it a gentle whisk. And then add in a can of condensed milk and a large can of evaporated milk, and then just continue beating. And then of course, don't forget your vanilla extract. This is actually it for the flan, so let's set this off to the side for now and start making the chiffon cake. First thing we'll do for the cake is to separate the yolks and the whites of 6 large eggs. Be very careful when doing this because you do not want to tear the yolk. Any form of fat, the yolk included, will prevent your egg whites from whipping into a meringue. What I did here is I put all the eggs in one bowl and then carefully remove each yolk using my hands. This is actually quite risky. What you can do is have a third bowl to crack each egg in and then just transfer the yolk on a second bowl and then put all the whites on the third. That way, if you do accidentally damage the yolk of one egg, you won't ruin the rest of the eggs. I just took the risk because I can't be bothered to wash a third bowl. Some people would also transfer the yolk back and forth using the eggshell, but I find that the eggshells are actually quite sharp and can make the yolk tear, so I'd rather pick up the yolk carefully using my hand. Now that we have separated the yolks from the whites, just set the bowl with the egg whites to the side while we work on the egg yolks. So to your yolks, add in your sugar and just beat to combine. And then add in your milk, water, and vanilla extract and just continue beating. Now sift in your flour and baking powder and just whisk to combine. Once you don't see any more lumps, we can now set this batter aside and work on our meringue. To make the meringue, just take the bowl with your egg whites in and using your electric hand mixer, beat that on medium speed until it forms bubbles like this. And then add in your cream of tartar and just continue beating. The cream of tartar will help stabilize the egg whites. You can easily find that in the baking aisle of most supermarkets. After about 2 minutes of beating, turn up the speed a little bit and gradually add in your sugar to the egg whites. Make sure to add the sugar gradually or you risk deflating the meringue. Once all the sugar is in the egg whites, just continue beating until stiff peaks form like this. It could take about 10 to 15 minutes. You will notice that the egg whites become whiter and glossier, and when you invert the bowl, nothing falls off. That means your meringue is ready. Now take your egg yolk mix and just give it a good whisk just to make it creamy again. And then add in a third of your meringue and just fold everything to lighten the mixture. You don't have to be too careful at this stage. Once it's one even color, add in the rest of the meringue and gently fold it to combine. This is where you want to be careful. You don't want to vigorously beat it because you will lose all the air that you beat into your meringue and the batter will deflate. So just take your time until it's one even color. Now this is basically our cake batter. It's time to layer up the rest of the mixture. So take your cake pan where we pour the caramel into and place it inside a roasting pan. The reason why I want it inside the roasting pan is because we will be baking this in a bain-marie. Into your cake pan, strain the flan mix to help remove any small egg particle that did not mix well. And then take your cake batter and slowly pour it on top of the flan mix. Because we beat a lot of air into this cake batter, it should float on top of the flan mix and they should not mix together. So I'm just using a spatula to smoothen the top of this cake. Now what we're gonna do is we'll pour boiling water into the roasting pan about halfway up the cake tin. I did this part after putting the roasting pan in the oven, which I'm not able to film. So this is what the setup looks like inside the oven. So the oven is already preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and we're gonna bake this for about an hour. When it comes out of the oven, give it plenty of time to cool, about 2 hours. And I also like to refrigerate this for at least 30 minutes after cooling before serving. When you are ready to serve it, run a knife along the perimeter of the cake to help release the flan under. The cake would pull away from the side, which gives an impression that it's ready to come out, but please do not ever skip this step or you risk tearing the flan under. Make sure to release it using a knife or a spatula. And then serve it in a very big plate like what I have here. So just put the plate on top of the cake like so, put one hand on top of the plate and one hand under the cake tin, and then very carefully and quickly turn the cake upside down and then put the plate down. And then pull the cake tin up to release the cake. If it's not releasing, tap the cake tin and pull up again. You will hear a suction sound when the cake is released and voila! There's your custard cake! This cake will serve a bunch of people, so make sure to share it with your family and friends. And that's it guys! I hope you liked this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that notification bell below so you don't miss out on any of my uploads. Thanks for watching! I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye!